Okay, good morning, everyone. My name is King Hua. Thank you for joining our webinar hosted by Reveres Academy and the Cambodia Chamber of Commerce. Our topic for today is building your career resistance at all times. So, what will we be talking about? Okay, the coronavirus actually has turned the world upside down, and job security is actually on everybody's mind. So many questions may come to our mind. So what can I do if I were to lose my current job? How do I position myself competitively in the new world of work? And what are the new career opportunities that lies ahead? So the good news is that everything is not doom and gloom. So we only need a little mindful step to take the easing sense of fear while building your career resistance in such an unprecedented time. So we are all in the same storm, but on a different boat. And if a raft is used to keep a boat moving during the storm, resistance is the force that will motivate you to pull on the oars. It may sound very difficult for everyone, but I guess our speaker for today, ADELE, will help you navigate through the storm and make sure that you are in good hands. So a little bit about our trainers, Miss ADELE Chung. Okay, she's a seasoned marketing practitioner, and she left the corporate world to join her family business, operating from a humble tailoring business, which actually has many years of experience. In her spare time, she spent most of her time with individuals who needs help in charting their career compass using approach like strength finders, point of view, and Lel. ADELE is also an independent Gallup certified career development and transition coach and a member of the Career Development Association of Singapore. So COVID-19 has certainly pushed her to pull out all the stops to pivot the family business to rough through the time of volatility while helping individuals with career advisory on job search and finding their career ikigai. So now you can hear the 4 O's of strength that she adopted in managing her own career transition for her family and how she harnessed on them to overcome challenges and stay on course in managing both business and career resistance. So without further ado, let us welcome Ms. ADELE to actually help us understand on her topic. Thank you. Welcome, ADELE.
Thank you, King Hua. Let me first share my slides. Hang on, I don't seem to be able to share my slide. Hang on for a second.
No.
Okay. Got it. Can y'all see the slides?
Yes.
Okay, great. Hi, good mid-morning or brunch. Happy brunch time, everyone in Cambodia. My name is ADELE Chung. I'm glad to be sharing, a little bit of my experience on how this COVID situation has helped me and the whole entire business family to actually get out of that crisis. And really is about building resilience. And I'm very honored to be invited by King Hua Reveres Academy to just do some sharing of my learnings, and hopefully it will also be able to impact all of you and you have something to take away with. Right, so as mentioned, really we are all in this COVID-19 storm together, right? We're all being sucked into this whole crisis, and sometimes have a sense of insecurity and loss of what to do. So the consolation thing is to know that you're not alone in this, and we're all on the same storm. It's just how what the boats that we are on may be different because our priorities are different. The concerns are also different, but as long as we sort of have that recognition that it is okay, that we're all in this together, and how do we just get out of that situation and so that we all emerge stronger together. Now, I'm going to share this graphic, and how many of you have actually seen this graphic circulating around the social media? Yes. Okay, great. Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. Yes, so this is a fantastic graphic that was circulating during the COVID time, and it was actually done by someone unknown, and he or she would still prefer to be anonymous, I think, and it has been vastly adopted by universities and companies because it helps employees and students to actually have that sense of recognition that, hey, in this situation, in this pandemic, right, that's unexpected, it's out of anyone's control. What zone will we operating in? Are we operating in the fear zone? Are we operating in the learning zone? Are we operating in the growth zone? So maybe here I can actually pause and have a poll from the participants here, as in during the situation of the COVID pandemic outbreak. What zone were you operating on, or were you at? Kinwa, can you help me with the poll?
Please choose your answer and key in accordingly so that we have an idea of which zone that you are in.
Great, I see 3. Okay, great.
Yeah. Yep. Can we have all participants to try to participate and choose whichever zone that you feel that you are in? Yeah.
I'm very impressed.
Okay, so
Yeah.
the polling is up soon. So can we share the result of the poll?
Okay. Well, so we have 7 people who polled. Let me just reverse it. So out of the 7, wow, I'm very impressed, and actually also very happy to know that, you know, all of us are the warriors. You know, we are not in the fear zone, or primarily not in the fear zone, and most of us are actually transiting, or rather are in the area of the growth zone and the learning zone. And I think you have to give yourself that pat on the shoulder, because you know the COVID-19 has definitely set every one of us in a fear, and you have moved ahead and gone out from the fear to really wanting to know how can you get out of it by learning and by changing that mindset and being in the growth zone whereby you can actually make a difference despite of that situation. So I'll stop sharing. Okay. Okay, we can close this poll now. So with that background, right, of the different backdrop of COVID, I mean, against the backdrop of COVID, and you are on the growth zone and the learning zone, right? A lot of it is the mindset that help us to take ourselves out of the fear zone to the learning zone and to the growth zone. And really, this whole brain picture graphic here really depicts where, you know, people who are in the fear zone, they really do not like to be challenged. They prefer the status quo. But hey, when it comes to a situation like that, you have no choice but to push yourself out of that comfort zone, you know, and to persist in the face of setback, you know, and to make new goals, and to view these challenges as an opportunity. So with that, I'm also going to have another poll to see how do you best describe yourself in this situation. Kinghua? The second poll for the
Launching
mind.
the poll.
Okay.
Launching the poll. Okay. Wait, give me a minute.
Sure.
Thank you. Okay, okay, launch already. Yep.
Thank you.
Yep, you can choose which category you are in. Yep. Please vote. Thank you. Yep, we only got 4. Yep. Please participate. Thank you.
I think we have quite a good interaction amongst the participants, which is good.
Yeah.
Yeah. I apologize for the typo error on the satellite. Should be double T.
Oh, okay.
Okay, maybe can we have 1 or 2 more?
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
The launch to the end poll. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, in the interest of time, we will just end the poll and we'll share the results. So, again, also quite good to see that, you know, we have 2 strategies in our midst, and I would say most of us are survivors, even though, you know, you think that you could be struggling, but when you struggle, you know, there's always this onset that, yes, I need to get myself out of the situation, and how can I emerge stronger. So naturally, the survival mode instinct will definitely sink in, because we all will be looking at, you know, sustained growth, and you know, all of us have family and mouth to feed. You know, we want to be able to continue our business. We want to be able to also, you know, move on to the next leap of where, you know, our career will take us to, and that's really essentially the financial security that we're all talking about, right? Okay, cool. So I'll stop sharing, and then we will move on to the practical stuff here. So that this actually helps us to set the background on, you know, really how the coping mechanism of how do we look at resilience. And today we are looking at career resilience, but a lot of it, the underlying thing is really personal resilience, whereby now we're looking at, you know, how do we define resilience. And I actually took this definition from American Psychology Association, that they define resilience as a process of being able to adapt in the face of adversity, trauma, tragedy, threats, significant sources of stress, you know, in the workplace, relationship problem, family, and financial stress elements. Essentially, it's really about bouncing back from difficulties. So mindset is very critical for us in terms of coping with all this trauma, and that actually helps to set the stage of how, you know, you make resilience as part of a habit, a personal habit, and that will actually help you to also better navigate your career resilience. So this is like setting the framework, the frame of mind, in order for us to be able to move on to the career resiliency part and how to build on it, right? So can resilience be learned? For sure. Can resilience be cultivated? Definitely. And is resilience under your control? Most definitely. So whenever you look at challenges, right, that's why this topic is really not about building career resilience during current COVID. It's really at all times, because at all times we'll be thrown different curveballs, you know, unexpectedly, that's out of our control. But what we have within our control is ourselves, you know, and how we can emerge stronger by having that positivity mindset, by reframing the mind. Yeah, so all of it is really within the control, and a lot of it is a lot of mindfulness steps to take, and it's always one step at a time. There's no need to rush. And COVID has also present us a situation whereby, hey, during downtime, there's more time to reflect. During downtime, there's more time to actually look at, take stock of our inventory. By means of inventory, I'm not talking about your toilet papers, your Maggie meals. I'm talking about what your skill sets are, how can you build on them, what is necessary, what are motivation, right? So the first thing about career resilience is really looking at what skills and ability do you have that you can take control, which we mentioned earlier. Resilience is always within your control. That you can take control of your own career development and being able to manage your work life even in rapidly changing environment. And that's career resilience, something that we can constantly build on and make it a habit, so that when we have another COVID-20, the time for us to respond a lot more positively will be higher. Yeah. Okay. So the first thing is to really get clarity. Well, this seems like, everybody talks about getting clarity, right? Everybody says, I've done my mapping of my career map. This is where I want to go. It may be so 2 or 3 or 10 years down the road, but with the changing situation, you may need to recalibrate your North Point or your career compass again. So now it's time for you, and it's actually the best time, the golden hour to actually recalibrate really what are your priorities, right? So maybe let's have some fun of reflection. So all of us, I'm sure all of you would have your handphone right in front of you. If you don't have a mirror, you can actually take a handphone. So take a selfie, but not literally take a selfie. Look at yourself in your camera phone, right? And do that. Well, depends on how you feel today. If you're feeling happy, you can bring a smile on your handphone, your selfie. If you just want to be natural, that's okay. But the thing is to look hard at yourself in the mirror, which is now your handphone, right? And kind of ask yourself this question: where am I at this point of my career? What are my career values? What are my motivations? What are my strengths? What am I good at? What is actually important to me? I think this is really a good time to recalibrate your priorities and your purpose, and giving you a different perspective. There has been a lot of articles that say, COVID has reset nature, reset the way that we work. It's going back to ancient times whereby everything should be not be taken for granted, back to basic, right? Because when we're all locked down at home, actually we can deal with the limited amount of clothes that we have in our wardrobe. We don't really need to buy more things. Of course, there are people who go on a compulsive buying behavior by shopping online, but then again, is that necessary, right? So a lot of reflection can be done during this loom time and downtime. Now, focusing back onto the career. So really, I'd like you guys to maybe take 1 or 2 minutes of the time to see if you have any, answers or response to some of these questions that pops up. Yeah. Okay. I've got a question, but I will answer that question from Ling after the session. Yeah. Okay. So can I move on? Yes. Okay. So one of the things that I do with my clients and my even myself, in situation is, where do I want to take the business and even take the family business from here, and also help my candidates and my clients to reevaluate their career compass. Right. One of the things that I do is really going back to fundamentals. Hang on. Yes, it's really going back to fundamentals. It's really ask them this question: with COVID at the background or challenges that you face, really go back to what is it that you value most? What is it that's important to you? What is it that matters to you? and we really goes down back to the fundamentals of addressing the values, your personal values, your career values. So at this point of time, I like to have Keng Hua to help me to flesh out a value screen, a value PDF.
Can you see?
Yeah, you may need to scroll up and scroll down.
Okay.
Right. So as a Gallup Strength coach, we also go back to the very fundamental of first addressing the values of individuals. So these are the values that we help individuals to actually clarify. So have a look at these values. You can quickly copy down and take a snapshot with your phone. Right. And Keng Hua, you may want to scroll down after they are done.
Okay. I will scroll down slowly.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the end.
Have you taken a snapshot of the values? Okay, great. So earlier on, go back to my slides.
You can override.
Yeah, okay. So now with the values that you have taken earlier on, so take a few minutes of the time to actually pick out what are some of the top 3 values that you always value and you often use and it's part of you, and what are the 3 values that that you've never practiced or you don't appreciate, or you seldom dismiss. So what I have on the screen here is some examples. Like for example, I value excitement in the work that I do. People who are in events management, they like the different events that they get to host, they get to organize, because it's always very different, it's always very changing. So they like the excitement of it, right? If I'm someone who doesn't like recognition, then this is something that I don't value very much, or it's of a low priority. Rather, I place independence higher, whereby I'm able to, do my own things and being recognized for the effort that I put in. A bit of appreciation, but I don't need that loud recognition from company or from from your peers. So it's that self-recognition that you appreciate more, which is the independence versus the group recognition or the outward recognition. So have a think about those values that you took of the YouTube pictures just now and place them into it. So this exercise that I do, and even for myself during the re-evaluation period, is I look at what matters to me during this time, right? For me during this time, it's the family sustainability. And for me, my family value is very, very high. And empathy is also very high on my list. So these are the 2 things that I value a lot, right? Those that I do not value a lot in the value chain, it's the recognition bit of it, because we are in the family business. For me, it's not so much about making a name for the family, but it's making a difference. It's the ability that our family business is able to make a difference, right? Whether it's dressing well, or whether it's helping people to be able to have more confidence by dressing well. And because clothing, garment was a non-essential business during COVID, right? So that part of dressing doesn't come to the top of mind for a lot of people, right? So that's something that wasn't at the top of my mind, but rather the business sustainability was something that that came out a lot more evidently. Someone raised a hand.
I think 2 person raised their hand.
Yeah. Okay, maybe I shall stop here and have them to ask questions.
Yeah, okay, I will allow the one talk. Hi, Mia. Hi, you can talk now. Hello. You have, no, I think you raised. Or this is the OFO.
Okay, but I've seen this lady or gentleman, Mia, is it? Yeah,
Yeah.
she wrote there her three values are that she always practice for herself. It's commitment, yes, commitment and conviction. Very, 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 very important to stay focused, right? Love to share. Thank you, and that's also very important because in this in times like that, right, support structure and being able to lend a hand to one another actually gives yourself and the other person the sanity to really come out of the situation a lot more positively and serve the best. I count it as soft value to be outstanding. Yes, yes, we are always a work in progress. You know, we are not excellent. We're not always an excellent uh, journey or part of our career. There's always someone better than us, so it's always good to be um, to learn and to share and to be humble. And these are the values that if you embrace, then you definitely will be outstanding and excellent in your own right. I must apologize for the airplane that flew across my house. Sorry about that. Okay, let it stop. Yeah. Okay. Great. All right. Let me move on. Let me see how do I control this. Okay, so after the clarity bit, the recalibration bit is done. So what do you do next? So you're sort of having some sort of clarity of okay, this is my values, this is my motivation, this is where I think I see myself or my career going. This is where I think could be my potential career opportunities or options, right? Then the next question is how do I achieve that? How do I get there? And really it's about building your core competency, knowing your strengths and your weaknesses, what are your motivated level of skills, what are you really good at, so that you can actually have a differentiation to be able to compete competitively in a marketplace, in a very, very crowded marketplace whereby you know for sure that there are a lot of companies who have retrenched, job openings are getting lesser, and you have more people competing, right? Then the next question that you may want to ask is, so I have all these, I know that, okay, with the clarity part of it, okay, do I want to continue to work for a corporation, or do I want to do my own thing, right? If either way, you need to be able to know how you're going to do that, right, with the competency that you have. So really, it's draw on what you are best at, because in a time like that, right, the time for you to respond and to be able to work out a sort of a foolproof plan, you will have a shorter time, right? But do not be pressurized by time as well. Really take the time to really evaluate and do a self-assessment on what you're good at, what are your strengths, and what are your skills. So often, after that clarification process, that I take my clients through, I will also take my clients through self-assessments. And there are lots of self-assessment tools out there that you can actually tap on, and some of them are actually free. So if you're curious about where you are in terms of your DISC means whether are you a dominant or you're high on influence, are you more a steady, conscious kind of personality. You can also take that test, and that actually helps you also to know where you are in terms of your personality strength and your preferred mode of work. I personally, of course, subscribe to the Gallup Strength Finder, whereby by taking on the assessment, right, it helps me to actually be able to crystallize what are my top 5 talent and what are my 34 talents. So what you see in the middle here are some of the talent or strength that Gallup Strength Finder is able to pull out from the assessment that I take. And I also will have my candidates to take, so that I'm able to actually pinpoint, okay, you're very high on arranger. So with that, actually you can use your arranger as a strength to be able to look at how you can compartmentalize and how you can actually prioritize your priorities in terms of your learnings, in terms of your work, in terms of your family situation, then you don't get too sucked into, all the negativities and all the burden of wanting to do everything at one time, right? Next, I will also be asking this question of, where are your skill sets? Are your skill sets enough for you to actually create your own demand in terms of the career opportunity that's to come? If not, then what should you do about it, right? So let me just give you a snapshot of this Clifton Strength profile. So this is actually my strength profile, and when you take the Clifton Strength test, right, you'll be able to actually know, what is your executing strength, what is your influencing strength, what is your people relationship strength, and what is your strategic strength. And this will definitely help you to lay the foundation of how you make decisions, how you work, how you communicate, how you actually also think. And that will actually help you to navigate career resiliency in the process. Because if you are someone who is very high in terms of communications, then you will be using communications a lot more in terms of getting yourself out there, branding yourself out there, talking to various people like, hey, I'm in this situation, and I need to be able to equip myself with this skills. Are you able to help me? So you use that talent or that strength to be able to help you ride through that difficult period and build that resiliency. Okay, and you and I, all the 12 people here today on the call, will have our different top 5 strengths. In fact, it has been proven by the Gallup Strength Finder report that only 1 in 33 million chance someone will have the same top 5 strength as you. Yeah. Okay, and so that's more of a talent and the innate strength that you have, your natural ability to be able to, deal with situation and deal with circumstances. The other strength that which is so important, and this is actually free. The Gallup Strength Finder, you actually have to pay for it, and you buy the book, right? At the back of the book, there is this access code whereby you can take the test. If any one of you is interested to find out more about the Gallup Strength test assessment, you can link up with me or Kenghua after this session. So so unlike the Strength Finder, the VAR character, which is also part of a strength analysis or strength assessment, helps you to assess your strength. Again, I'm being very vulnerable here, whereby these are my character strength, and spirituality is actually my top 1, and somehow that kind of like has a coherent alignment with my number 1 strength, which is connectedness in the Gallup Strength Finder. Why? So with connectedness as my top 1, and the talent team of connectedness is really about believing that everything happens for a reason. And for me, yes, I believe that, with COVID, it happens for a reason. It allows us to rethink and to reset and to reprioritize. And whatever that I do it for a purpose, right? So for me, the purpose then, when COVID happened, was to really to look at how we can pivot the family business and to emerge from it and to be able to sustain. And that brings a spirituality component together, which helps me to also ride the crisis a lot more with ease and a lot more with confidence. Because when you have the clarity of your values, your strength, and your character strength, right, when it all blends together, it's a lot easier, and you take it with more positive stride to cruise through the crisis, to cruise through the storm. Okay, and with that reflection at being done, you mapped out, okay, these are my skills, these are my strengths, these are my values, right? Then how do you work to prepare from it? So I put this picture up because it's to really show that preparedness comes when opportunity comes when you are prepared. So this is actually our workshop, where we have bales of fabrics, we have sewing machine, and we have resources. So a real story is that during the COVID situation, when Singapore was asked to be on a sudden circuit breaker, lockdown, we have very, very little time to respond. And because we are operating in a retail environment, retail is badly affected. So what do I do? So again, these resources, these resources are fabrics, your sewing machines, and your skilled workforce, right? It's akin to the strength, skills that you have, and that helps you to prepare, for crisis, for opportunities that is to come. So we were actually the first tailor to actually pivot the family business from making suits and shirts and transforming our sewers from suit makers, shirt makers to mask makers. So we were the first tailor, actually first few tailors to actually make fabric masks, not to sell but to give away. Right? Why give away? Because that links back to my values and also to my strength and also to my character, strength of spirituality and connectedness, whereby I want to be able to make a difference even in a time of crisis. And that brings us back to the circle of, the growth zone, the mindset, wanting to make a difference, doesn't want the COVID situation to stop us from growing, and to be able to ride the crisis. So with that, right, even though we have the resource and I have skilled workers to help with the sewing of the mask, I actually roll up my sleeve as well and start learning how to sew masks. So I was put in a situation whereby, coming from a tailoring background, I actually don't know how to sew a skirt or shirt properly. It was really during the COVID situation whereby we had to make masks to give out for free that I quickly, learned the skills of sewing. So this is whereby, when we are faced with a situation, the survival mode comes in, and the growth mindset comes in that, hey, I can pick this up. That's fine. So it again brings back to, whatever situation that you are in, whether you're in a job or whether you think you're going to be out of a job, the time is now to upskill, to reskill, to actually up your barometers, to actually up your skills currency. And today, because of COVID, a lot of us are working from home. Schools are closed, but they stay open online. So there are a lot of abundance of resources out there for you to keep on upgrading your skills level. So there's LinkedIn, learning is free. Coursera is a wonderful platform whereby it's created that's created whereby universities, top universities, Yale universities, Harvard universities, MTI, British Columbia, they're actually offering free courses, maybe some at a fraction of a cost. So if you feel that you're a digital dinosaur and you want to, learn more about digital marketing, go online and learn. And today, in the digital age and digital economy, we need to equip ourselves, and the gig economy, we need to equip ourselves with the very, very fundamental of really how technology can be an enabler for us, and how we can actually make use of technology to be able to grow the business. Also to actually look at technology to help you in the work processes. So if you're in Cambodia, reach out to your local universities. Look at what are some of the courses, or it can be free or academically courses that actually help you to up your level of skills here. So this skills is hardcore technical skills, right? For example, the fintech, it's really hot right now, and people are actually looking at, okay, how do I do trading? And there are courses out there right now that actually teach you how to do trading, and that may be a very good skill set that you can actually build if you don't that, once you clarify your values and your skill set, that hey, this could be a career potential or career options for me, post-COVID situation, right? The other thing is raise your hands up in a company whereby, hey, there's an opportunity for you to try something new. So raise your hands up and say that, okay, I'll volunteer for this job. So it's really getting yourself exposure to be able to try on new things, and that's when you grow, right? Personal development workshops like that will also help you to grow and help you to look at reframing your mindset a little bit. Reading, and I always advocate, if you're not an avid reader, right, it's okay, because there are so many online resources that you can actually read right now. Even blogs and Quora, reading is just really disposable now with our mobile handphones. And with that, if you're not someone who learn from reading, learn from listening, or learn from visuals, podcasts, TED Talks is one of my favorite as well. And I do regularly, get myself lifted with all these TED Talk teachings. And volunteer, be of service to people who are in need. And when I talk about be of service and volunteer, right, so these are the soft skills that you also need to build on. So not only hard skills, sometimes what makes us stronger is really that resilient soft skills that we need to build. Positivity is actually one of them. Compassion actually is a soft skill that is becoming more and more apparent, because that links to empathy. A lot of the leadership today are exercising more empathy leadership style in terms of the management of the team. Hobbies. So pick up new hobbies, because that will also help you to discover a different aspect of your character, your personality, and maybe even build soft skills. So if you've never been into gardening, pick up gardening as a hobby. That helps you build patience, and that patience will be of good value and strength to help you through the cost of a situation like the COVID-19 or maybe even COVID-20 to come. Okay, so really, it's when we talk about reskilling and relearning, right? It's really pushing yourself out of the comfort zone, stretching the limit. Always be proactive in learning. Always take out opportunity to stretch your competency, which we have addressed earlier on. Sorry about the airplane again. Yeah, I stay near the air base, so yeah, so they often has practice like that. Okay, right. So when you are stretched out of your comfort zone, right, that's when you know that, okay, I think I'm more or less ready. I think I'm more or less prepared. But really, how prepared are you? So I'd like you to look at this Venn diagram and some of the questions here. How prepared are you? Have you clarified your self-talk, your self-doubt? Have you embraced your self-belief that, hey, I have the strength, I have the skills, I have the passion to be able to navigate through my current situation, and maybe even create demand for my future career opportunities? Have you really identified what you can do and what you will do, right? And most importantly is to assess what brings meaning to your work now and future, and that's what we talk about, the career ikigai, which is your career sweet spot. And that takes a journey of really deep dive inwards, right? The other thing is how prepared are you competitively, right? Have you worked on your personal branding? Have you updated your resume with accolades of your achievements, right? Have you gotten your proof that you are active in this area and that area? Are you involved in alumni? Are you contributing articles? So these are all the social proof that you can actually build on to build your credibility. That's how you remain competitive, right? So we talk about upskilling earlier. So it's really, do you think you have equipped yourself enough with competency that will help you to serve future market demands based on what you think are some of the career options that you can actually look at, or even future possible roles that you can actually craft for yourself? Have you also done enough research on the market? Have you made the right connection? Have you gotten the right resource that will be able to help you to competitively market yourself, right? And how do you do that? I think really today it's really about knowing, getting the right connection, expanding your network of reach, and also establishing a very, very good support group that will be able to help you grow. May it be a friend who's a mentor, or your partner who's your bouncing or your sounding board, or even having a coach to be able to help you clarify and break down all the doubts that you have and embrace that self-belief. I strongly also recommend, if you really have the time, and please do set up some time, because you never know the power of volunteering as a networking instrument. Of course, it is not to say that you volunteer because you want to network, but you volunteer because that's part of the values that you embrace to be able to want to make a difference to the community or even to the association that you belong to. Like for example, if you're in PR, then volunteer at the PR industry association whereby you can actually contribute articles, right? So examples like that. All right. So so this is really the thing about, you know, how do we then emerge out of it is when we are prepared, when the opportunity comes, that's when everything comes together. So really, a lot of people say that, oh yeah, he's very lucky because he is in a pharmaceutical industry, or no, or he's very lucky because, you know, he has the resources to do this. A lot of us may have the resources or maybe in the right industry, but if we are not, you know, prepared, we are not well stocked and didn't take stock of our inventory of what's lacking and what's the gap and where can we make up for that gap, right? You will still not be prepared when the opportunity comes, right? Yeah. Okay, so the last and the fourth is really, now that you have clarity, now that you know where you should be building your core competency, your skills, where are the gaps, you are prepared, you've upskills, you know, you've done all the necessary checks and, you know, in terms of how you're going to compete yourself competitively. Now is the time to position yourself forward in the sense that you put yourself in a place of demand, market demand, right? So imagine this, how do you do that? So imagine you in situation whereby you're able to do Zoom networking. How do you claim your niche by saying that, okay, hey, I'm so and so and this is what I do. So in a conversation like that, right, it is the opportunity for you to claim your niche whereby you create your own demand and you position yourself forward, and that comes with personal branding, right? How do you brand yourself? With the experience that you have, with the talent that you have, the track record that you have set for yourself, the values that you embrace, the attitude, you know, that you take with you as you brace through, and all the social proof. These are things that you need to claim as your niche, as part of your whole personal branding, in order for you to be able to create the demand for yourself, to position yourself forward, to be able to be more competitive in the marketplace. Yeah. Okay. So with that, you know, the 12 of us here, we're all different folks with different backgrounds, and we do things differently. And the main important thing is to be able to find your sweet spot, which is that career ikigai that helps you to navigate your true north, right, and be able to stay resilient in times of, you know, turbulence, in times of uncertainty. Okay, and with that, I just like to encourage, like, whatever situation that you're facing right now, whether it's a COVID or family, the thing is to really keep going. Yeah. So, any questions so far that I can help to address?
Yeah, you may want to address the first question that is by Ling.
Yeah. Okay. So, like, may you kindly and exactly tell us the career at Singapore during COVID-19 right now? Okay. So, in Singapore, we are pretty blessed in a way whereby the government has been very proactive in supporting companies, SMEs, big companies, with what we call the job scheme support, by providing companies with financial aid so that the companies do not retrench workers unnecessarily. So we are blessed in this state, but there are still companies who are actually retrenching, and jobs are actually being reduced. In fact, the F&B industry and the retail industry like us are badly hit. A lot of F&B have closed down. A lot of retailers have also closed down. Those who are able to sustain, they're also cutting down on their workforce in the sense that whereby they are switching to flexi working hours, or they are also encouraged to work from home. So when you switch from flexi hours, the time has also reduced, which means to say that the kind of work that you do will also be reduced, the pay will also be reduced. So that's the positive side of Singapore, whereby people are still having jobs but lesser pay. The unemployment rate has definitely gone up in Singapore. I think it is now at 2.6, if I'm not wrong. So many people are frantically looking for jobs, and as with most situation, right, when you're in this crisis, right, the first thing is when you know that, hey, I may be out of a job, there's insecurity, you would jump into like, oh, looking for the next job. But a lot of companies are not hiring, and they're actually on hiring freeze. So what can you do? So instead of being instead of rushing into applying jobs, right, really take the steps that I've gone through earlier on. Have that clarity first. Know what is the value that you can actually give into in a new job, in your new role, or your potential employees before you start, frantically and blindly applying for jobs, because you may end up feeling very disappointed if you do not get an interview, an audience for an interview, or if you do not get the job. So have that clarity first, and build up your storehouse, your resources, in terms of your capabilities and your competency. Then you'll be able to have a higher chance of securing the job that is to come. Now, what if there is still no job? Then what do? Do you just sit there and wait for a job to come? No, I would strongly also encourage you to be self-sufficient and to take up the self-leadership of creating something for yourself. So if you are, if your hobby, part-time hobby is a baker, right? Then invest time then now, see if you can actually pivot it into being an online baker, right? And that will also help you to maybe create a new second career for yourself. So there's never a full stop in terms of, oh, there is no option for me. There's always option for me, for you, if you were to look deeper into really what motivates you, what matters to you, what do you really value, and what can you make best of what you're good at in a situation like that, where time is not on your side, maybe finances is not your side as well, and the competition is actually not on your side.
Okay. Thank you, Adele. Actually, I have a question. You talk about the Gallup Strength Assessment.
Yes.
Itself. So, actually, can we interpret the Gallup Strength Assessment ourselves, or we need to have a trainer or somebody to help us with it? Yeah,
that's a good question. Okay, so with the Gallup Strength Finder, yes, you will have a report depending on what kind of assessment that you opt for. So usually it will be the top 5 report that it will churn out for you, and it's just it is just one part of it, and it's enough to let you have a sense of really where you can actually use your strength in the workplace, but it's not a complete picture of what would be your other lesser strength, which what we call weaknesses. So it would actually help if you have someone to be able to guide you through and break down, okay, these are your strengths, but at the same time, they can also be your weaknesses. Then how do you know whether these are your strengths when it's being activated? How do you know that your weaknesses sometimes can also be your strength in situation like that when it surfaces? So it would help more if you have someone to guide you, but it's still okay if you do not if you just want to rely on the report itself and do some reading up from the book or research, but it will take longer. Yeah, and you may also not get the right diagnostic. So yes, depends on what you want to invest, and if you really think that, okay, this is what I want to get, then I would suggest that you actually talk to a mentor or coach to be able to help you peel that layers to get more clarity, so that you take lesser time to build on what you're good at, rather than focusing on what you're not good at. Then your level and your margin of success will actually be lower if you are just working on your weaknesses and not on your strengths.
Okay. We have a question from one of the attendees. It's actually for his question is actually, I found myself by using my talent to strengthen myself, career, team, and company. I saw a lot of opportunity during COVID to build me up, and always commit to do it daily at the same time, and also a lot of issues to challenging with team while they are still feeling down. So the question is how to deal with teams to keep going together.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this one has to be addressed in couple of folds. So really, it's addressing your anxiety, right? And that comes with putting the mindset and the reframing in place. It is inevitable that everyone would be having this small talks, that what's going on in the company. So as a leader yourself, I think you need to show up more to give that assurance that, hey, the company is doing something now to actually keep jobs. What are we doing? So one, okay, we want to keep our jobs, but maybe can we look at job split or job share so that you're still able to be intact as a team. We can look at how in this area you may need to rescale so that you'll be able to switch onto a different role should a different role comes about. So do not give them that beautiful picture that everything is well, but let them know the situation of the company. This is what the company is actually facing, and I need all of you to be on board with me, whereby, okay, one, we may need to cut down on this particular role because it's made redundant, but hey, I'm not going to get rid of the people, but let's see if you can actually um, let's see if you or anyone can actually step up to be able to fill this role or convert this role into something that will be valuable to the company, that allows the company to be able to churn revenue. So work together as a team, because when you involve your team members, they feel that there's still a sense of belonging to the company and they're still able to contribute. And the anxiety of I'm going to lose my job will actually go away. Yeah. And also let them understand that job cuts may be necessary, and job pay may be necessary, but it's just only the interim period because we are all in this together.
Okay, that's good. Okay, one of the question from the attendees also, how to overcome the distraction Facebook during this period? I guess everybody have this issue on it. Yeah.
Yes, it is very, very true. I mean, the social media is inundated with heaps and heaps of information, and sometimes this information may not be necessarily positive for the well-being, for the soul, and you may be hearing the wrong thing as well. Yeah, because your mind may not be the mindset may not be clear, or you do not have the clarity of what you want to do, and you're just following the trend, and because of FOMO setting in, right? So one of the ways I overcome distraction on Facebook is I actually set time to actually look at it. So from 9 to 5, I do not look at it. I really, really focus on my work, even though there's a notification thing, right? I will just ignore it and I look at it like during my meal time. Okay, actually I don't even look at it during my meal time. I actually look at it like during my TV time, so-called my screen time. My screen time could be my Netflix time. My screen time could be my reading time. Actually, also on my mobile phone, on my Kindle. So that's where actually I look at my Facebook, my Instagram, or whatsoever. And this is also one way to distract yourself. Have a discipline zone, whereby if you're working in this zone, right, this is a no social media zone, right? This is my work desk. My work desk is really for work. It's not for socializing on Facebook or on the Instagram. However, I will still encourage you to keep yourself active on LinkedIn, because that's a professional network that you need to be constantly be out there, so that people know that one, you're looking for a job, and two, you have the relevant experience and background that your potential company might need. So if anything, right, switch your focus from Facebook to LinkedIn. I think that will be a better way for you, and it will be even more productive for you.
Oh,
Hope
thank
that
you.
answer your question.
Yeah. Thank you, Adele. Okay, for the next question, this probably will be a bit difficult. May I know the way or strategy of government and company provide salary percentage for employee stopping temporary from job, from work?
I can't answer that in entirety. Maybe Keng Hua, you can step in, but I can share with you as from a business point of view, because we are operating a business, right? And I'm employee and I'm also a businessman at the same time, and we also have to look after, you know, the livelihood of our employees. So today we haven't cut any staff. Okay, we did work rotation because of the COVID of safe distancing. We did flexi hours. So in terms of the percentage of salary percentage, right, it is really up to the employees themselves to set based on the long-term vision, like how much of a resource, and that resource I'm talking about financial budgets that I can have to be able to sustain my employees for the 6 to 12 months or from the 3 to 12 months. Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah.
I think probably for this one, I can step in at it. I answer it like in Singapore.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, we actually in the month of April and May, government actually have a 75% salary support for all companies, and subsequently, depending on which industry you are in, mainly tourism and I think hospitality, I think the support continue for another at least 3 months for 75%, while other company actually is about 25% only. So there are also F&B that I think about 50%. So it depends on industry, and also it depends on the companies that are badly hit by the COVID. So I think government support is there, but of course for companies that actually support, I guess it depends on the financial means of the company.
Yes.
The company itself is actually financially quite healthy. I think they can actually have more support to give more support to employee. If there are companies that are not financial strength, that are not so good, probably I think like what Adele has said, the company would have to work with employee to actually come up with I think a middle zone that they can accept and the company can accept, so that they can get a win-win situation where the company can survive and the employee would not lose their job. I think both have to work hand in hand. That's the main purpose of it. Yeah.
Yes, that's absolutely correct. So that communication at the onset is very, very important. The managing the expectation is very, very important. And by managing expectation, you are actually also calming their anxiety that one of it is you will have a job, and we will do, as employee, we will do our utmost to keep jobs, but you need to also cooperate and work with us in terms of the little adjustment that we need to do. So while we get government support, and the thing is we cannot always rely on government support, right? Because we need to always find the different channels of revenue to be able to bring in different channels of sales to be able to bring in revenue, and at the same time provide work for the employees. So that conversation is very, very critical at the onset to have, so that you keep your workforce intact, you sustain your business, and you're still able to operate.
I think very good thing about that. I think the most important, like what Adele said, communication with your employee is very important, because you need to let them know how the company is going to move forward and what is the actual situation of the company. So I think be open about it and everybody understand about it. I think during this COVID-19, should everybody know that there are issues, but the things that how are we going to go together, gaining the trust of employee, and also by giving assurance to employee, I think is very important for company to move on. That's the thing itself. Yeah. Sorry, there's one question that came in. How to convince BOD chairman to trust on me and listen to me based on the opportunity that I see and could build the company grow during COVID-19? Please advise my preparation to raise up ideas to top management for approval.
Oh, well, that's a very interesting question, and I'm actually quite happy that you found that you actually turn adversity into opportunity, and you actually find ways to actually create maybe new business potential for the company to be able to generate new revenues. And I think in times like that, your company, your management will be actually very open to hearing from you what you have what you have and what you can offer on the table. So I would say be bold and be brave. Put out your proposal to them. Of course, you must also find the right time and the right place to do it. Don't do it on a day whereby they're on a payroll day or they have a intense meeting. Timing is really actually very important. Two, it's when you craft that proposal, right? Position yourself as someone who is part of the company, not an employer. Is a entrepreneur, is the owner of the company. If not, why would you even bother, looking at opportunities to help the companies to grow? So when you have that, when you position yourself that way, you subsequently also change the mindset of your of each OD. They will say that, oh, this is an employee that I should keep, because in times like that, all the other 99 employees are just waiting for me to do something for them. But this guy is different. This guy is creating something for the company. So take the bold step to do it. Have an audience with them, but in your proposal itself, right, you need to clarify, you need to be very clear on why you're doing this, how you're going to do this, what is the returns based on the investment that you're going to put in. And returns meanings that is a forecast and the projected returns, right, and potential of growth for the company during this COVID situation. Yeah, I think when you are able to address these four parts of it in your proposal, right, your management would really consider, and say that, and volunteer yourself to be, the task force head. Set up a community for this. So really, this is about taking the first step. Volunteer yourself and create growth for yourself, create the demand, position yourself forward, which is the number 4 point that I addressed earlier. Good for you. Congratulations.
Yep, I think to add on Adele's point is that it should always be a we, not a I. So it should be we want the company to actually excel. So
Yes.
We want to build the company and not I want to do it. So it's a collective things rather than individual. So that would actually help sell the idea better.
Yep.
Yeah. Good. Yes. Very good. I think that's about the time that we have. Thank you everybody for your participation. Definitely Adele will have upcoming some other courses that we're getting up with her, collaborating with her. And you're interested, please sign up for with us for the webinar. Yeah, thank you everybody for the opportunities, and we hope to see you in the other webinars that we are doing. Right. Thank you, Adele, for the in-depth of the your webinar, and it's a very I think it's something that we really learned a lot today. Yeah.
Thank you for inviting me. I hope I'm able to value and you have some takeaway from it.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yes. So if you have any question, we'll stay for a while. If you have any question, please feel free to actually let us know. Yeah. Thank you very much. Yeah. See you all.
See you. Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe.
Yeah. Stay safe. Do we have any question that's outstanding? No.
I think there's one question I didn't really address in the chat.
But that's about the same questions that actually you actually addressed the same way.
It's about the company benefit has been cut. So how do we engage our employee for a better engagement in the workplace? Yeah. So this one I didn't address. But it's beyond a coach, but it really has to do with the workings with the HR process. Yeah. In terms of employee engagements.
Yep. Okay. I think one of the that actually create a group of participants in Telegram. Yes, we do have a under our Reveres Academy, where we will add you into the Telegram. Thank you for your support. Yeah, for the next program.